Whiskey on. Let's get straight on to Facebook. Hang on, try and grab a link. It should be on here. Any chance of finding the link? Oh no, on that one. I wonder if there's a link on this one. Let's see if it comes on. Let's have a look on this one. There's the link. That's what I'm talking about. Let's put that straight in the comments. Straight in the comments. Hello. Oh, I can see a few people have come on. Hello. How's it going? Lee Ashby here, Motocross Speedway Memories. Got an awesome live video with the man Mike Larocco tonight. Really cool. Literally packed of interviews over the next week. Got Mike Larocco live tonight, 8 p.m. Anytime I'm going to be getting him on soon. And then tomorrow night, I've got Speedway British legend Marvin Cox. Then on Monday night, 7 p.m., I got American legend. I forgot what I'm doing now. What am I doing Monday? Anyone know? Where am I? Oh, Robbie Reynard. Doing American legend Robbie Reynard on Monday. On Tuesday night, I'm doing a Paul Pirates legend and Speedway legend on and off the track, Mr Neil Middleditch. That's 7 p.m. UK time Tuesday. And then on Thursday next week, I'm doing American Speedway legend, Mr Rick Miller, Coventry Bees legend, etc. So should be cool. Yo, Bradley, how's it going, buddy? Hope you've enjoyed your day at the thing. See, we got the merch on. They'll give you a hat and your brother at Grittingham practice the other day. Hope you're good, buddy. Very stylish young man, this Bradley. Very much enjoyed watching him ride, and I've got a lot of pictures for that young man. Just over 100, wasn't it, Bradley? Not many. Cheeky deal. Your dad will be happy with that. Not sure who that is. I just saw that it's you, Marlon. So hopefully you're going to get yourself... Look, Bradley's sorted himself out. He clicked the link and he's on, but loads of these people... Gavin Mitchin, you have a shout out. Is that Mr. Pryor, maybe? Hopefully you guys... So basically, I just put a comment in the... I put a link in the comments. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk tonight. I'm literally sweating out again already. I was in bed for a flipping week with COVID, went to take the pictures last night, and I was in a bad way. Oh, and I'm still sweating now. This is the normal Ashby way, eh? Try not to do it so I don't have the donut lines on my head. Do you need a link to click on share names? Yes. So, I'm going to try and do it again now. So, you'll see that basically... there it is. Look, I've put the link there. Look, just click on that. It's just basically about a privacy thing. Gives your Facebook permission to use your name and profile. And then it comes up to me so I can quote your names on screen to Mike or whatever. So basically, look, in a normal post, see, most people I know just come diving straight into the video. Look, but there, see that blue bit where it says StreamYard? You're supposed to click on that, register, and then come in. But obviously, I know everyone just dives straight into the video. Just a pain in the ass with Facebook, I'm afraid. So you've just got to click on that link. I've posted it in my Motocross and Speedway Memories group, so now I'm going to post it in my page one as well, in case anyone's on my Facebook page. And then I'll also do it on my own Facebook as well. So any of you, because there's 3 different Facebooks you can come in on. So I'm just going to post that link on all of them. So anyone on Facebook, click onto that. So that's that one done on my thing, and then I'll do one on my own page, on my Lee Ashby page. I'll post it in there as well in case any of you are in that one. Plus, you can go live on my YouTube channel, Motocross and Speedway Memories, and I'm also live on Twitter, Motocross and Speedway Memories Twitter as well. So there's about 5 or 6 things that you can watch it on live, and then obviously all these interviews are recorded and on my YouTube channel, Motocross and Speedway Memories. So make sure you subscribe to that. There's hundreds of videos on there of all the legends. There you go. Let's say I'm live at the moment. There is my YouTube channel, Motocross and Speedway Memories. It's free to subscribe, so get on there and you can watch hundreds of videos of all the Speedway and American Supercross stars, Motocross stars, the whole works, and watch it in your own time or listen to it in the van on the way to Motocross or anything like that. So I hope you're all good. Right, let's see how everyone's getting on with it all now. I'm going to see. Hi, Simon, I can see you've sorted out. Yo, Mike, I can see you, buddy. Top man. So the man is here already, so I'm going to get the video going, and then we'll get in. I can see all your names popping up now. So good work, guys. You're getting on it properly now. Right, here we go then. Let's get the video going. Let's get the man in here. Beautiful. Hopefully it all goes well.
Yeah. I'm living good. I'm living great. Everything I do in the first place. I said I'm living good. I'm living great. Everything I do in the first place. Yeah. Watch my money grow. Watch my money grow watch my money grow like a proud parent. Yeah, my money getting old and it's colder than the snow bunny. Happy getting money, honey. I'm living good, I'm living great. Everything I do in the first place. I said I'm living good, I'm living great. Everything I do in the first place. Yeah. Watch my money grow, watch my money grow watch my money grow like a proud parent. Yeah, my money getting old and it's colder than the snow bunny. Happy getting money, honey.
But you was wondering if it was all going to end, eh? Right, here he is. Mike,
Howdy.
can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Beautiful. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. And you?
I appreciate you coming on, buddy. Sorry about the redoing it all, but yeah, I'm actually sweating out now.
No worries.
Yeah, I went out to take photos last night, but I was not in a good way. I literally just come straight out of the bed. Oh, not good, but yeah. We're getting there now, so it's all good. So, Mike, appreciate you doing this, mate. I really do appreciate it. Followed all your career all through my youth when I raced in the 90s and stuff like that as well. So it's so cool to speak to you. I watched all the videos and all the season reviews of America like we do in the UK and the magazines and everything. So it's always super cool to get you American guys on. So obviously next week, the Vets Fox Hill, you're going to be there as well. So really cool.
Yep, definitely looking forward to come and checking it out. Just hanging out though.
Yep. Have you been? I don't think you've been to Fox Hill before, have you, Mike? I don't think you've been over.
No, I have not.
No, I didn't think you had. We had the Motocross Nations over here, but I don't think you was in that one. I think it was 98, maybe. I think it was 98. You probably saw some stuff of it online. It was absolute wipeout. I think there was. I'm just trying to think who was there. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was like Carmichael on the 125. I think it was Doug Henry. Yeah, on the Yam 4-stroke, I think. Yeah. But yeah, so you're looking forward to. What day are you coming into the UK next week then, Mike?
Just Friday. Right, Friday.
Friday. Coming in on Friday.
Yeah.
I've just literally seen this as well, Mike. Just seen this online before I come on, so I was scrabbling around trying to get the pictures on quick. That Doc Wobbs just made this up.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good looking one.
Yes. So I think they normally have a few of the guys sort of just sit down in the bottom of the track on a bike and just have a few photos and an interview. So I'm sure they're going to try and ask you to swing a leg over.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. But it looks like he's gone full bore on that look.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks really cool. He's literally just posted it, so I've literally just been scrabbling the pictures to get it on there. So very cool of Doc Wobb to do that. Looking forward to that. So what have you been up to then, in general, then, Mike, lately?
Not tons, really. I have a couple of businesses that I've been running. Right now, I have a trampoline park in Vista, California. And mostly, I do the business, but I do the maintenance, and it definitely keeps me busy. A lot of high volume traffic here, so lots to do with that. But other than that, not much in moto. Just I went to Redbud for their 50th anniversary, but other than that, I haven't been around moto since really 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've not been to, have you do you still ride any bikes anymore? Or?
No, I haven't ridden. I've ridden twice since 2017, but just been super busy with a whole different life now. So not much time for riding. I don't even have a truck to transport a bike, so it's just different world.
Yeah. So what was the obviously I know you was getting on to sort of twilight your career, but what was the reason at the time for retiring? I know you were well known as a gladiator for sure.
And the racing,
Yeah.
That one was tough because I with age comes, I don't know, experience, but the experiences that you have, it's a lot harder to shut off the you're going to get hurt thing. So when you're younger, you can kind of look the other way and pretend it's not going to happen to you. But when you're older, it really just kind of sits there in the background going, I'm here, be careful, So once I got to the point where I knew I couldn't ride without carefree, like being carefree, I just sort of felt like it was time. And every year before the last, I would say it's the last 2 years. The last 2 years when Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart were sort of raising the bar, it was and the Four Stokes were coming in. It was just kind of that crossroads in the sport, and I was at the tail end of my career, so I just didn't have it in me to want to, because the Four Strokes were different. When I rode a 252 stroke, I kind of knew what the bike was capable of, and it was most often that you could think you could jump something and the bike may or may not make it. But when you switch to the 4-stroke, it was like, for sure, we can do that, but I don't want to. And so when I was at the tail end of my career, my risk versus reward was fading. And so instead of kind of riding it out and not giving the effort that I was used to giving, I decided it was time.
Awesome. Just had Kevin Wheeler come on, one of my buddies. He just put absolute legend. One of the only riders that was faster than McGrath in his day as well.
Yeah, those were the good old days. That was a fun time, the 90s or mid 90s.
Yeah, take me back, Mike. Take me back. That's what we do. That's all we do in the UK. As you'll see next week, Jesus, like it is off the head over here in the UK with all this Evo, Super Evo stuff and the 2-strokes and all that. You'll see some unbelievable bikes. It's incredible. So, yeah, you should enjoy that for sure. What did you think of the 4-strokes as well when they came out when you first went to do that then? Because obviously you raced all the 2-strokes all that time. What was your impression of the 4-stroke when it came out?
It was like I said, it was kind of that, like I knew they were better as far as the engine power. And it was a matter of time to sort of get them tuned up to where you could handle them and ride them as well as you could a 2-stroke. It was a lot to get used to, but the power was significantly better, and the ease of traction was a lot better. So I knew that there was something there. It was just, like I said, it was a really tough time for me because I was really familiar with tuning my 2-strokes and feeling real good about where I was with those. But then all of a sudden you're riding against you're just a purely faster bike, and it just that was just one more thing that it was just hard to get used to. So I rode the 4-stroke the last year, but it takes you a little bit to kind of get used to it. You can ride in your own environment and practice, but once you get in the race environment, the braking points were different. The way you start in traffic, the starts, those were different. So I didn't really, I think I only did 9 races on that last year before I broke my wrist. So I just didn't really get into the swing of it where I felt like I did on the 2-stroke.
When you broke your wrist, was that like the plan to finish at the end of that season anyway, or did that just speed things up a little bit? Yeah,
it just sped it up.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Okay. So, how old were you when you first got into the sport then of motocross, and what sort of bike did you have? How old? That type of thing.
I started riding when I was 6 or 7. I was on a MR50. didn't do much right away that first year. I think maybe I raced once, but really got into the sport. Yeah, that's probably 81 area. Can't even remember, but
this is you.
that's about the time I started getting into it.
Cool.
I really didn't think I had a chance of anything until I was about 14. Really even never imagined it until I went down to the mini Olympics in Florida.
Yep.
And then you got a kind of a better chance to ride with some other riders, and that was also the first year that I ended up staying the winter in Florida. And so having the ability to ride all year, and then when I came back, that year when I was 14, and all of a sudden I started beating everybody. So I don't know if it, was the fact that I rode all year long, or it was just the transition. But that was at the point where I started really doing well on a bike.
Yeah. I've got someone's here has no name on this one, but they've put, Mike, if you could go back in time, what race would you like to re-race again? Interesting.
I definitely like to go back to probably 94 Supercross series, or 94, 95. I really felt comfortable on the Cowies then, and that was kind of the era that I was, doing my winning, and just especially knowing, mentally what I know now. I would love to have another shot in that era.
Yeah. I remember then in that series, I think he was always making poor starts, but always come like literally through everyone, and then he was like catching McGrath from the back and stuff like that. And I think it was getting the wind up him. If he made a bit of a better start, he could be in trouble.
Yeah, those are the years for sure. I would love to.
Yeah, that was awesome. Awesome. Did you ever actually do anything like that? Did you actually ever end up practicing starts? Like, was it a thing at the time, or?
It was, but I think the one thing that would have changed the game for me is that the lockdown device on the front forks. My biggest thing was, I think I was a little heavier than most. So I always I was prone to wheelies, and that kind of seemed like once you lose that handlebar, it's really just not fun going in the first turn and not in the first 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So kind of backed off, tried to salvage.
Now they got all these things on the forks where they keep them down, and all the gadgets are going on now, aren't they? I'm not too sure I'm into it all, but yeah.
I mean, I ended up getting to use those, which it helped me, but obviously I was so patterned to poor starts by then, it didn't change everything.
Pat Stott has just come on. He's going to be at Fox Hill as well. He's the guy that runs 90s Motocross on Instagram. You might have seen everyone likes it on there that he does that. He knows everything about everything. He's put who and what was more frustrating, Kradowski or Pastrana?
Well, it's tough. It's definitely tough racing head to head with your teammate and sharing the same semi bunks across from each other. That was never fun. I was a fairly aggressive rider, so I always wasn't comfortable coming back to the truck. But Pastrana, I mean, I've just seemed to have bad luck with him. He probably did more damage to me in the 2-year span physically than anybody has, because he plowed into me when I crashed and landed on me, broke my wrist. I mean, obviously that's more frustrating because I basically suffered pain from it. So other than the uncomfortable, I would definitely say Pastrana and dealing with the bikes landing on me.
Because I remember when you were going head to head for the title, I think it was outdoors around 94, around about that time. And I remember watching the video of the whole series, and I remember Mike literally was going over the finish line jump, and he just ghosted the bike into you as you were going off the track, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but I did. I mean, in my book, if it's the last lap and you want to win bad enough, and somebody's in your way, you might need to get them out of the way. And I think I remember that was at Redbud, and I knocked him down on the last lap for that win, and he definitely was frustrated. But like I said, it was really tough going head to head each week and being in the same semi in the same truck. So I think it weighed on him as well.
Yeah, I did have a question for that, Pat. So well done for that. But I was going to say it must have been awkward at times.
Yeah.
Like fighting for the titles and things like that. Things are going to happen, obviously, in the heat of the moment. But yeah, that was entertaining for us for sure. Wes Carlisle, he's another Super Evo man. He's got a big site on Facebook and stuff. He just put, "Hey Mike, talking about '94, have you lived down the defeat to Team GB at the MXD Nations?"
You know, it's actually funny. My 17-year-old has just recently gotten into watching old videos, and we watched.
Oh, yeah.
We watched that. And was that Rodenburg?
Yes, Switzerland. Yeah,
yeah, that was an interesting place. But after looking back on it, yeah, definitely we let them beat us. Definitely.
There we go. We've got some pictures.
A little bit sketchy with the rocks and.
I think Greg Albertine hit a deer as well when he was in front of one race as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one as well. What was that like though? Because obviously you went on the 500. I know you've done when you used to have the series is in the 500, but I'm pretty sure that sort of started to creep out, didn't it? So I don't know how much you got to go on that 500 before that meeting as well. I'm not too sure.
I hadn't ridden it since I think '93 was the last year they did the championship.
Yeah, I remember they used to do it. Yeah.
But I do remember that track was it was an interesting track. I remember probably for the first time in my career was there was one set of hills there where you kind of race down it and then race back the other side. And I remember being on 500, you could just send it down there. And I remember pulling G's at the bottom where you were like you couldn't even really see it out. Track was fast, but it was. We definitely let that one go.
Because normally, Mike, as well, I've literally I thought about you before the interview. Normally, I have like a few of these hanging up that got like the replica ones from that year.
Mm-hmm.
So I even thought of you. Look, I didn't even put them up. So I then thought I'm not going to rub it in, and then he brings it up.
No worries.
So I was thinking about you as well, mate. But yeah, let's talk about better ones anyway. Wins that you were winning.
Oh yeah, what's that? Well, that was Australia.
Yes.
That one, that was pretty good. I mean, I guess considering we were the B team at that one, which I don't remember what was going on there. I think it was a little bit of political stuff with Stanton and Bradshaw, I think.
Yeah. I think I remember that. Yeah, which is classic because you guys had a great team.
Yeah, no, we did what we needed to do over there. That was good, tough, rough sand track. So that was actually a really, really far away trip. So that all around that was a pretty good deal. Neat countryside to see, and nice to go home with a win.
Oh, for sure. But
that one,
that one,
Brazil maybe.
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah,
got another picture there. There you go.
That was tough.
What was that like, Mike?
That one, I remember just not feeling it there for sure. I don't really remember why, but I think we
long way. Was it how was it a bit weird out there? What was it like out there? It must have been strange.
I just remember the track being kind of easy and fast, and I don't really remember. I know that I don't think I did any better than like a 7th or something, but it just wasn't good. It was me, Wyndham, and Carmichael, I think. But I don't know that any of us did very well at that one.
Let's just see. I've just seen what. He said it was Brazil '99. So Lawrence Hare, he's a former pro speedway guy in the UK as well. Hi Lawrence, hope you're good, buddy. He's just put, what was it like having the biggest, most famous jump in motocross named after you? And can you tell people the story behind it all? Did that as well?
Yeah, no, that's been actually really cool. I think, just as of recently, just keeps my name alive, which is kind of cool. But that was the way that started was Tim is the track designer there at Redbud, and when we were younger, he used to come over and ride at my practice track with me. I used to do one day a week, like a Wednesday night, where I kind of opened up the track to some of the locals to just kind of get a little bit rougher track, better track, and I used to change my track every year, and 1 year I decided to put in this. I dug out both sides of the hill and ended up. It was like a massive tabletop. It was like 150 feet, and so that was kind of a fun, big, scary jump that I was doing on my practice. Like it was easy on the 500, but the 125 was a stretch. But anyway, so Tim saw that and was kind of liked how impressive it was, and he decided that he needed one of those at Redbud. So he's like, "Hey, I'm working on this. I got an idea. Can you come out and check it out?" So he it's where it is today. He kind of built that up and it was like a step up at the time. Now it's a little bit more like a triple, but anyway, that all the fencing was down. So I was on a 125 at that time. So I remember, I had the luxury of, riding through the field, just grabbing gears so I could send it. And it was, I think it was uphill 125 feet when it started. And that was the year he built it. It was 92. And I do remember, since I had that luxury of doing that with the gate down, I knew if I could get that 125 in the fifth gear that I was going to send it at the race. So, and it was a few laps I got it, but the track gets rough and it's always usually deep there. But I managed to get it a few times.
Yeah, it's super cool, and everyone still talks about it still now. And as they're saying, bringing it up and everything as well. Just got a guy here from Wales, Safe Ride Motocross. I'm sure he'll be there next week. He's put, "All right, Lee. Hi, Mike. Big fan. Have a KX250 94 replica project. Any chance of a scribble autograph on the front brake bud? If you ask, you don't get. Bring it along."
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure Mike's going to be doing plenty of selfie pictures, me included. You're going to be very busy the next weekend, Mike.
Yeah, no worries. It'll be fun to be back around that stuff.
I've got to just show you this as well, because I think this was 99. I even got let me just take that comment down. I even got the old factory Jack in the Box connection on my bike as well, on my 125. So yeah, it was really cool. So I've got to get that in there as well. Right, here we go. Marlon's put, did Mike have someone showing him how to ride when he was young, or did he find his own way?
I didn't really have any coaching. I did have the luxury of my I'm trying to think what age I was, but maybe when I was like 11 or 12, my father ended up obtaining a Honda Yamaha dealership. And so there was, at the time, I think Honda and Yamaha were doing some incentives for the dealership. So they sponsored a couple riders, but so I did have the luxury of riding with some better guys he would let them come out we had 9 acres where I was growing up. So I did have the luxury of riding with some guys that were, faster than me at the time, but never did any coaching, just kind of something that I just put a lot of effort into. And, I don't know, maybe somewhat naturally, but no real coaching.
Okay, thanks for that, Marlon. Here's the boss, Dave King. He's got there, you can see on his VMX DN, he's put, "Looking forward to meeting you, Mike, next weekend. VMX DN, Fox Hill, Dave King." So
looking forward to it as well.
I've just been showing him the pictures of Doc's bike. I just see posted up, literally scrabbled around quickly and got him up on the screen. So that was pretty cool as well. So everyone's buzzing about seeing Mike next week. Pat's just said, which World Supercross event was your favourite to attend each year? Obviously, you've got the Paris-Bercy, Stade de France, Switzerland, Italy. I think you guys even rode Japan and all those sorts of places as well. Was there any ones you enjoyed more than others, Mike, over in Europe?
I mean, I did like doing the Bercy. That was just a really kind of electric event, I guess you could say. Fans were really into it. Switzerland I liked as well. I'm trying to think. I remember also liking the fast cross in Italy.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
I do remember the Japan tracks were always not so good. The dirt was
it's a bit sketchy.
Kitty over. So I would say Bercy probably, in Switzerland, I remember being a decent venue.
We always watched that on the TV, the Bercy, all the nights in Europe and the UK. That was really cool seeing you guys go into the tunnel and all that. That was always one of the ones that stuck in my mind. Yeah, definitely. Got Dave Thomas here on YouTube. He's put, what was the biggest regret Mike had during his racing career, if you had any, Mike? Was there any teams that you wish you hadn't?
Yeah, I made some bad decisions kind of around it was at the end, like leaving Kawasaki. I mean, I have, I don't think I would have ended up at, making the Jack in the Box team and working with Factory Connection if I didn't. But I do think I had a lot more wins in the tank if I wouldn't have switched from Suzuki or to Kawasaki to Suzuki in '96. That was a really tough year because I was winning on Kawasaki, and then I switched at the end of that year, but I also had a major knee surgery. So when I came back on the Suzuki, I was kind of like, I was unsure if it was me or the bike because I was now wearing knee braces that I hadn't ever worn before and just wasn't comfortable with the bike. So I didn't really know, but that kind of just blew out my confidence. And once you're that's a tough battle to get back once you're winning and then you're not winning. So I would like to have more time, on the Kawasaki's back in that era. I'm not naive enough to know that it did allow me a great future with Honda and Factory Connection. So that's a tough one, hindsight, but definitely career-wise, I regret that.
Did it run all right, or was it like the handling of the Suzuki that was different, so much different than the Kawasaki? What was the actual part that you found?
I'll tell you what really bothered me the most was just the stuff that like just some stuff that we maybe as higher level riders pushed out of it, like the power valves would stick open in Supercross. So if you jumped onto a plateau and then you wanted to jump off the tabletop, it'd be like, whoa, it was so unpredictable about whether or not it was going to do the right thing. And I used to break the foot pegs off and the linkage bolts and everything it was just scary. And I you're trying to perform at a high level and you're just in the background going, I hope some doesn't break. It was more
bit dodgy. I
don't think the forks, the conventional forks really worked for what we were doing either. So the combination.
Right, so I'm going to have to tell Dr. Wobby needs to get a Kawasaki ready for this weekend. Well, Dave, we'll have to tell Tommy Searle he's off that Kawasaki now, that the Carmichael replica. Mike's going to sit on that one. I'm glad you mentioned this, Dean, because I thought I don't want to say this because I might look like a kiss ass because I always put these guys on the pedestal anyway. But Dean just put, Mike, what's the secret? He hasn't changed. It still looks the same after all these years. Yeah, what is the secret, Mike?
Well, that's probably a bit of discipline. Okay. I had that when I was racing, and kind of still try to hold myself to some standards. And it's definitely harder, much harder now, much harder, especially add a business into it and no real reason to. It's definitely harder.
Looking good, mate. Fair play. I got Dave's just come back on. He's put, hi, Mike. I think he means Doug DeBack is listening and said him and RJ did that jump in 87, apparently. they're not trying to own the Mike Larocco leap here, are they? What's going on?
Yeah, that was a double then.
Yeah, it was only a little double then, Doug. Oh, brilliant. Always good to know there's no pressure and big legends on watching as well. Right, let's have a look. What riders did you look up to and idolize when you were young then? Did you have any you looked up to them that loved them riders up?
Well, when it started, I remember very early on, my dad used to take me to Redbud. And I think I specifically remember Marty Smith. I think he won that day. And then I remember going into the pits afterwards. And back then, I think they had the leather gloves that stained your hands. And I remember shaking his hand. I think he had red hands, which thought was super cool back then. But it started there with Marty Smith, and then as Ricky Johnson went on his run there, that definitely shaped what we were watching, when I was younger. And then he was kind of tailing out when I was coming in, so I didn't really have any of that crossover stuff. But all those guys, I mean, I'm sure just like these kids now, it's just you watch who's winning and you try to learn from them, and maybe even indirectly, but you're watching and learning at the same time. But started with those guys.
I got a question that someone asked me to ask was best and worst teammates you've had over the years.
Best and worst teammates. I would have to say I didn't really allow myself to have many friends. And then I do remember that probably one of my best friend's teammates was Larry Ward. And I kind of think thereafter that I decided no friends, because Larry was always the hardest guy to pass because I was trying to be gentle with him. But so anyway, I would have to say Larry Ward was probably my best. We had a lot of good times together. And worst, probably, I mean, I don't know any other teammates that threw the bike at me, so it would probably have to be Kudrowski.
Yeah, right. That was a bit crazy, that one. Yeah, for sure. What would you say during your career was your actual favorite race bike? I have got quite a few pictures of quite a lot of your race bikes, but was there a specific one that was really stand out over your career?
I really did like that 500. That was really fun to ride. And it suited my riding style. And actually back then, that one thing that I don't really know what it was, but the forks on that, I think they were like Certa-Valve or something like that, KYB forks. And that was really the first time that I had ridden a set of forks that they were next level. So I remember specifically I was out testing, and then when you kind of do an over jump and then there's acceleration bumps afterwards, so if you send it so far you're landing in the acceleration bumps, usually it's like a major brace and then hands come off the bars, but it was like just plush, and I was like, oh my God. So that was like that era right there was when things were starting to advance in the suspension side of it. So I really did like that, and you added that power to it, and that was a really fun bike to ride. I have been talking about that, the 92 through 95 Kawasaki 250, also very good. And then at the tail end of my career, that was not so sure that I ever really loved the aluminum frame. Hondas that we chased handling on those a lot. I liked the bike and how it sat and turned and everything. For the most part, just super rigid, and unpredictable. But so having the luxury to look back, and if you really look at my results, it was definitely the Kawasaki era.
Just got someone message saying, hey Mike, is any of your kids racing?
No, I didn't let them.
Good choice.
Yeah, just one, knowing how hard it is to make a living and have a career in motocross, and how expensive it is, and selfishly I was on the other end of that, and I just wasn't ready to start over. And so I when I was in Michigan, I had property, I had a bunch of mini bikes, stuff like that. I liked when they did that kind of riding, but when we moved to California, I just, all they had was the mini bikes and then public tracks, and I just wasn't, just didn't want them to be out there, get hurt, get, overpowered by somebody. So anyway, I kind of gave them every reason not to.
Yeah, Fair enough. Fair enough. It's stressful, isn't it? Enough of kids
Yeah.
letting alone like watching them do that. know what our parents felt like now. Jamie Clark just put, used to love watching Mike Larocco when I was a younger, mixing with Emig, McGrath, and Ward. Good times. He's a speedway rider as well. Look.
Yeah, those were, and when I watch now, I mean, racing's, well, maybe not this year outdoors, but racing in general, it's been pretty good. But I do know that the speeds are up, kind of a lot. So it's a lot higher risk to sort of, bang some bars and scrap it. And back in the era, that my era, you could kind of get away with some bump and run stuff without really putting anybody at high risk. And I do miss that part of it. And I think, technology has done that to us. I even think it's just the track bill is getting better, because it used to be when, you'd walk a track, there would be like one nicely shaped part of the jump and the rest of it was like, kind of iffy. So just everything's evolved to where, the sport's smoother and the technology's better, and now speeds are up, and that stuff gets to be a lot more high risk. So I don't think we'll see it again unless we bring the bikes down or something like that.
What do you think of the obviously the Lawrence brothers are taking things by storm as well over there, and just did a Queen sweep, didn't he, as well? So Jet. And so,
yeah, like very impressive.
Crazy, man. Yeah.
Very impressive. When I was kind of my tail end at Geico when we were signing Hunter and also his brother Jet. And I remember 2018 Motocross the Nations, he did really well there at Redbud, impressively well. But I didn't really think it would be like it is this year. That's for sure.
No. Did you enjoy that experience working with the team and everything? Did you enjoy that part of it, or?
I did a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a lot more.
Ooh.
Not really a people person, so I was a little bit worried that that wasn't going to fit. But I think it was kind of nice, the ones that I connected with, to be able to share and kind of coach. I didn't really think that was who I was, but I definitely enjoyed it.
I just got someone else here. I can't see a name on it, but they've put, evening Mike, I so hope to bump into you next weekend at the VMXDN. Do you think if the AMA and the MXGP got together, that could be a solid move for the sport going forward?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you can see this year how they got motocross and Supercross a bit united on the American side, and I think having anybody work together, I think you'll get further. So I can only imagine that would be a good thing. I mean, we do things quite a bit differently, so that might be hard to do, because both coasts are used to different things right now. In the U.S., they try to minimize time away and time of everything, and in Europe still, you guys are you spend 3 or 4 days at an event, like we used to. So I can only imagine it would help grow. I don't know that that's going to be an easy task, and I do wonder what happens. I mean, because obviously it can't be all here or it can't be all there. So I think the Americans are probably too selfish to maybe kind of want to go over there a ton. So I think it would be a hard thing to do, but I do think it would be good for the sport.
During the sort of the prime of your career, at any point in your career, did you ever think about coming over to the GPs to race in Europe? Did you ever get any offers or deals or thoughts or anything like that at all?
Not really. And I think if you look back into my era, it wasn't like it was now. I mean, right now you would venture to say that, there's as much or more talent in Europe than there is in America. And before there was a bunch of standouts, but not really like it is right now. So it didn't really like wave at me for a challenge. And plus I was also it's really tough when I was a really focused racer, so for me to be out of my program for more than a couple days in a row, I kind of got like, it got to me. So I could only imagine trying to figure that out this wouldn't have suited my style. So I would have pushed it away, I think, until, that opportunity was, really set up or kind of forced upon me.
Really, that what you just said then is why you went on that, what was it, 10 years or whatever it was, that streak of America winning like middle of the 80s until the middle of the 90s, that time that you talked about in Switzerland, that you were very dominant there, like you said. So, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying there. Sure.
Yeah. And I think even now, if you look lately, I would think that it's really relative to how much time that the European side of it spends, on practice day together, on race day together. I mean, you're there 3 or 4 days a weekend, challenging each other. And I think we used to do that. We used to come in on a Thursday and have press day on Friday and practice, on Fridays and then race on Sundays. And we were there and we were spending a lot more time doing that. And now it's we're in and out. And I think, a little bit spoiled and I think it caught up with them.
I think obviously wouldn't imagine the money would be the same to come over the GPs at the time. I think America was the place to be with Supercross and all that as well. Massive thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it would have been a hard thing to do. What is Mike? Why do you think the American riders are so much better than the European riders back in the 90s and 2000?
I don't know, and they all weren't. Not all. There were definitely some good ones, but I do think, like I just said about the time spent at the racetracks and challenging your peers, we did that way more back then, and now I think it has evened the playing field because we don't and they do. So in my eyes, I believe that that's pretty relevant to why we've seen a shift, and I think that. I'm not saying that Europe didn't do it back then, but I don't know why. I think it just took a minute for them to, I think if you even look at the styles, they're more American type riding styles now in Europe than there was back in the 90s. I mean, things have just kind of shifted. And now I think that they have what they need to have and they spend more time, challenging each other. So I don't really know why, other than I think we were just a step ahead then.
Yeah. Pat just said many riders after they retire have trouble settling into the real world, as it were, not being in the motor lifestyle anymore. Was it difficult for Mike, or did he have everything planned out years in advance?
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't know what you don't know. So definitely didn't have it planned out, and I don't have a problem at all missing the hype. Like, I'm really quiet and reserved and very content just being me. So I don't, and I know a lot of guys miss the attention and kind of I do miss having something to work for. There was a time there, but for sure, I will tell you this, that spending all your focus and time on racing motorcycles and revolving your life around it, and then going to the real world, you have no idea what it's like afterwards. You're a pampered athlete that gets everything you want, and then he gets to go in the real world. It's definitely a different place. So I did not have it figured out. I took on challenges because I felt like I need something to work for. So I definitely didn't have it figured out, and I think I'm probably be working for the next 5 or 10 years still.
Yeah, sure. What was the early Yamaha days? What was that bike like in that time, Mike?
Yeah, that was I had been on Yamahas my whole life up until I went to Suzuki in 1990. So those were I was comfortable, and that was a little bit of a hard thing for me because my parents were my dad was my mechanic, and they traveled with me each week. So I remember back then, like, it was cool to have a box van, right? And so I was still, motorhome and trailer, and on the bike there, which was still, was back then we only had Yamaha support for the 125 class. They didn't really do like they do now with the 250 or the 254 strokes are pretty much factory supported bikes, just like the big 450s are. But back then it was just Yamaha sport stuff. So I was comfortable on the bikes, no real issues there. I think it was just more like I wanted a box van. It's just silly. It's really what it boiled down to. It's feeling like we made it.
That's true. Yeah. That's cool. Then you went on to that Suzuki as well. That was that bike good as well?
That was pretty. The 125 was good. I got hired on for the 125, but they put me up at 250 right away. And either way, I didn't know any better back then. What was good, bad, or otherwise. But more than not, I think I went through a period of injuries. That part of my career. I think my wrist. I was always breaking wrist and recovering and stuff like that. So that dampened a bit of my start. But I didn't seem to have a bad time at all with those Suzukis, just the latter one.
Talking about your dad, obviously, as your mechanic, was that always a good thing for you? Did you always have a good relationship with your dad? Was it sometimes fall out about things, or did that all run smoothly? How did that all go?
For the most part, it was good and bad. I mean, I did well with, and he was hard on me, but more like negative motivation, like, and some people can handle it and some people can't. He'd tell you everything you did wrong every minute, and win, bad, or otherwise. If you did something wrong, he let you know about it. And I honestly, I think that helped me build the character to always want to be better. So I think that was a good thing. The hard thing about it was and now having run the Geico team, I have a better perspective of this. Did not know it, but have your to have a father-son team in there, and to have a professional team, like you don't want a team within a team. And I think the managers like that had to deal with me and my dad were feeling like they didn't really get to know me or have control of me. It would have to be, like through my dad or through my mom or through whatever. So knowing what I know now at Geico, I know that that was a tough situation to be on the team side like that. So I get it. Back then I didn't. So I actually moved from Kawasaki to Suzuki that last time because of that. And knowing what I know now, it was, I see things way differently.
I get
it. It's not all good. It's good, I think, if you can find a way to, having it as a mechanic where you're both employed by the team, it's tough. But some people can pull it off, but it's definitely tough. And from a team standpoint, I mean, I definitely didn't like to have to, wait for dad to get done, debriefing the rider before I could, as a team, so we could decide what to do with the guys. Like it is a bit of a pain.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a question off of Doug here by the looks of it. He's put, what was it like winning a moto in Texas in your rookie year? Doug's question.
Yeah, that put me right into heat exhaustion. That one, I remember. that was kind of my first real taste of the heat. I think that was San Antonio. But I think I crashed in the first turn of the first moto, and then I remember somehow I whole shot at the second moto, and I think George Holland chased me the whole time, and I managed to hang on to it, win, and then I think I couldn't even go to the podium because I was seeing triple back at the moto.
Wow.
That was definitely cool, but you got a realization how much harder work it is. That level.
Certainly hot for you guys over there. Was that special for you as well when you went to the Kawasaki team on obviously the factory bike and all that? And was that?
Well, that was also, I think, the first semi truck in the pit. So yeah, that was a cool experience. Not unlike what I shared about the box van. Just new. I mean, but it was a bit awkward. I got to be honest, being in there with everybody you're racing against. So it's cool as it look from the outside. When you get in the reality side of it, it's a bit weird. But anyway, that was a good team back then, and I think everybody did. You know, since there were so many good riders, we all challenged each other. So I think we had a pretty good team from the outside.
Just cool, seeing Stanton there in the background. Did an interview with him. That was cool. How did you get on with Stanton? What was your thoughts on Stanton?
Yeah. That Jeff was Michigan, so you know, we grew up. He's a few years older than me, so I actually would go stay some time at his farm and ride with him a bit when we were both on Yamahas. He was when I was first turning pro, he was already a year in pro, and I was just kind of coming into it, and we were both on Yamaha, so that worked out for a while, and plus he was local, so I always looked up to him as a young rider when he was the fast guy in Michigan. So but you know, we ended up becoming competitors, so that had to change.
I know a lot of you guys had to have race numbers on positions and things like that, and it changed over the years and stuff like that, but did you ever have any favorite race numbers in the schoolboys, like the youth, and then did you have any specific numbers that you liked and any reason for that?
I did like back when we were numbered by how we ranked. You know, that was kind of cool. I thought it was cool when we were switching to permanent numbers because, you know, there was all the idea that you could do something with marketing, but really it's kind of cool when it changes. But I liked. I mean, 7 was good to me, but I only have the reference of that was, you know, my results. I don't have like, you know, my amateur number was 559, but, you know, not like it was I didn't pick it. It was a +3 of my AMA number, so it's not like it was special. But
did you have a favorite track in America? What sort of terrain did you prefer? Did you prefer the hard pack, sand? What was the sort of thing that you liked, Mike?
I certainly did not like the hard pack when I first started because I was from Indiana, Michigan, where we didn't really have that. But I spent a lot of winters in Corona, California, so I got used to it. But I would have to say, if I look at the series as a whole, that I really liked the dirt and Supercross at St. Louis and Houston. It was like softer, kind of would make berms in the first turn, like it was really good dirt. And then outdoors, I mean, I liked Redbud as, you know, my home track, but I also liked Millville. And Millville was, you know, kind of a crossover of a little bit of clay and sand. But I really liked that one for the hills, and it really got pretty rough. So,
was there any tracks over in Europe that you actually liked when you came over for the nations and stuff like that? Was there any tracks?
Trying to think. Because I don't think I did any donations other than Rottenburg, and I would say that wouldn't have qualified. Mainly just for the rocky type soil. It was kind of sketchy. I'm trying to think of a track in it's Majora.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Is that in Australia, was it?
Majora, isn't that Italy? Is there a
Majora? I'm sure that's one of these guys I know. I've heard of that one as well. What's the ones? There's loads in Italy as well. There's some cool ones in Italy. Come on, people, get commenting. Where's Pat?
Yeah,
he knows everything.
Anyway, I remember one track. I was over there in the early '90s. I thought that was
Italy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember that being a decent track, but again, a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good GP track as well. I don't know if you got to ride there as well. That's like very similar to Fox Hill as well, all the big hills and stuff like that, and even like that Rottenburg that you rode in as well was a bit of a picturesque one as well, wasn't it? I've got Alberto here on YouTube. He's put, "Hello, Mike. Nice to see you're doing good. I still have your autograph from Orlando Supercross in 1993. I went and bought a KX250, so looks like it worked with the brand."
Yeah, that was a good one. Right on.
That's cool. Did you have any favorite race gear over the years, Mike? You had some. I always used to love. I've got loads of them down here. All the magazines, sort of. You remember they used to do all these back in the day with the
Yeah,
kids.
I did like the MSR era. I liked. I think there was like a turquoise. Yeah, that era. There was also like I think it was '94 where I had the blue. The blue. I don't remember what it was, but that was, I don't know. It was kind of my first time in my career too, where you had you had a kind of a rider on a brand, kind of. So that was kind of one of my memories, was just being the MSR guy for a while, and then eventually the O'Neill guy, which I liked being, you know, the most recognizable rider on the brand, I guess, more than anything. But the MSR gear was good. I mean, O'Neill was good to work with. But I mean, I was pretty only really those two brands, so a lot of experience.
There were so many cool advertisements back then in the magazines. Yeah, they did some really good ones. Did you ever like enjoy or be, when they put you on like the front of magazines and things like that? Did that always was that you enjoy that?
Yeah, of course. Not I don't like doing the photo shoot stuff, but of course when you end up that was cool. But.
Yeah, you feel a bit awkward doing that. They did do some weird and wonderful ones as well, didn't they, over the years? Some of them now you think, wow, that is like proper retros, cool as well. But
yeah.
Got some nice. Did you like always having the helmets all sprayed up? That was another thing you Americans were well known for. We used to love all your spray jobs on the helmets.
Yeah, that was a fun time too. I always wonder where you're gonna get.
Yeah, they were really good as well. I've just got a couple more on there as well, haven't I? Even on the front of a game.
Yeah, that was cool as well.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that one. That's a nice one as well. All the cool things everyone got, all the stickers and emblems. Did you have any inputs in any of these things like that, or was it just done for you? Or?
No, and that was kind of probably the most fun part of it. Is now it looks like everybody has to manage the social media stuff and on top of that, and I'm so glad I didn't have
to. Yeah, he was all business
for
sure. There's another one on the front of the Moto magazine there as well. Still miss them retro T-shirts and stuff like that. We should bring some of them back.
Yeah.
Especially next week. You'll see plenty of that sort of stuff next week.
I know.
Very cool. Did you have any weird and wonderful superstitions of any sort, Mike, over the years racing?
I mean, I definitely started considering them. There was, a few years that I kept getting hurt, so I was kind of wondering about having 3 6s on my bike at one point. So I remember putting a 4th one on there just to make sure that wasn't a thing. But not really. I mean, I didn't. I really didn't. I do remember that year. I think I had broken my wrist probably 2 or 3 times in that era there. So I was like, something's not right, or ankle, or it was always something. It seemed like. But those were things that, those were just the times where I learned a lot of stuff, like then how important boots were. And, with my wrist, I wish I'd have learned how to fall, in gymnastics or something, earlier. But obviously you learn the hard way.
What about on the injury side, Mike? What was sort of the biggest injuries that sort of held you back throughout your career? What was the ones that were a pain in the ass to get rid of and a bit of an issue after, or whatever?
Well, I'll tell you, the shoulders are not fun. They, I would say at this point in my life right now that the biggest issue I have is just, decreased mobility in my shoulders and I usually try to do a good job, rehabilitating and recovering, but shoulders are tough. My biggest injury probably was my knee there in '95, because I actually I tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus. Like it was literally holding on by skin and my medial collateral.
Jesus. Yeah, not good.
So I had actually 3 doctors told me I was done at that point, and so that was kind of a really tough one to recover from. And luckily, I got hooked up with the U.S. ski team doctor who kind of was more optimistic than the rest of them, and he got me going. And I mean, it really was a tough 3 weeks, getting through that first part of that surgery, because they had the thing all opened up and put back together. But pretty good now. I mean, my other knee is missing some pieces, so that kind of is a bummer when you kind of run downhill. But otherwise, when I look at our sport and the guys that have been through some tough stuff, I feel pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Really lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Wes just put as well, Mike, you wore Bauer Moto helmets for years. I just happened to be bringing a very cool replica of yours next week, so make sure you pack some Sharpies.
You got it. Yeah, Bell was like I said, I was pretty I want to believe loyal. I mean, but most of the time it's like you get kind of branded with something and nobody really wants to mess with you, but also you are that guy. So spent a lot of time with Bell until we kind of fell into that era where everybody was producing their own helmets and boots. So you would have clothing companies that started doing their own helmets. So when I was with O'Neill, that's kind of where that went with when I left Bell. But,
I think there's going to be lots of cool stuff to sign next week for sure on the replicas and all these sorts of things. Dave's just put, boy, that dude was tough as nails, Lee. Yeah, I know. He's put, how did he get the nickname Rollerball?
Not me. That was
I was going to say, Rollerball, who's that? Did you have any nicknames on your pants over the years? I can't remember. I'm just trying to think what ones.
Yeah, just the Rocket.
Yes,
I played on that one. I finished my career with the Rock. I think I had some stuff at the beginning, like they used to call me the Predator when that movie was around, because mostly from my bad starts, I guess, but mostly just the Rocket and the Rock.
Martin Neary here. He said he's from the UK, but he's in Greece at the moment, so he's loving it over there at the minute. He said it's 34 degrees or whatever he just said. He's put, I have your 1992 MRSA MSR kit. Sorry, the pants have Predator on them. How did that come about?
Like I was saying, that was at the time where that movie was popular, but also MSR was doing, as you saw with a lot of that stuff you posted on there. They were really kind of involved in the the ads and stuff, so they had some pretty on top of it designers, and they put that on there kind of at the same time. But mainly for my competition, that they I was coming, I guess.
Yes, we've been talking to Casey Johnson. I did an interview with him, and Craig talks to him quite a bit as well, and he said about the rocket thing and all that, so he just brought that up as well. Good one here from Pat. He's just put, were there any riders, in your opinion, so incredibly talented but never had the support funds to go and reach their potential, or just incredibly gnarly that surprised you they didn't win more, e.g. Swink and Brad?
I kind of always wanted to believe that if you had the talent that you would get far enough, even though I do think there was a time there where in 252 stroke or 254 stroke that you were seriously at a disadvantage if you didn't have good support right when that stuff first started coming out. I do think there was an era there where you could have some talent and be overlooked by a underperforming bike, but for the most part, I do believe that those guys they would have got noticed enough. So we did have some guys that were extremely talented that didn't go as far as they should, because that they just didn't. We've all probably been around them where they're local guys that are fast that just don't make it, but a lot of it breaks down to not really willing to put in the work or the sacrifice. As far as the Swinks and Bradshaws, they grew up really highly touted. And I think Bradshaw was doing everything expected of him until, he kind of, I can only imagine how hard this was. And, in 92 when he had won 9 races that year and had a couple of mistakes, and, it all went down to Coliseum, and he wore that mentally, and I think it really messed with him after that. I don't think he was ever, when you do that much and it's not enough to win, I'm sure that puts a wear on you. So that was, tough to see, but Swank was highly talented, but I just think there was a bit of focus difference there on where it needed to be and where it actually was. So, I do think the guys that make it for one reason or the other. One, that they had the talent to get there and they did enough with it, or two, they had the talent to get there and they didn't, and they didn't stay. There's some point, when you get to that high level where everybody's closer to your natural talents, and if you're not going to do it, you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah, you've got to do the whole thing. Pat just mentioned a moto win. He said, I can't remember if it was San Diego or Anaheim too, but everyone went wild. It looked amazing.
Oh, probably one of the Anaheim 2s, because when you get to the point where you're the elder statesman, I think you got most of the people in the stands can recognize your name because you've been around long enough. So I think when you don't win every week and you finally get one like that, it seems to mean a bit more, which for me as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So when you obviously rode all the Hondas at the back end of your career, were they all good? I know you mentioned the frame a little bit and stuff like that, but generally were all those Hondas good?
Yeah, they were good. I just, hindsight, I go, because I spent a lot of time doing the development on the Geico team, and, having the ability to, work on the bikes without the pressure of racing them and learning more about what does what. It really, I really think I could have done a better job with what I raced on those bikes. We were so sort of focused on being stiff, one or two sections in a Supercross track instead of, where the other 80% is, more rideable and more compliant. Like, I definitely missed the boat there a little bit, but, they were good. I started each season, thinking that they were good, and I was comfortable on them. Then, when you don't win, or when you gotta bring your comfort level up, it's always back to the drawing board. And it just did seem that most often I would run into a situation where your hands would blow off the handlebars, and you really have no idea why. And I just think stuff like that, they just weren't very forgiving. And some of that's high speed compression, but a lot of it's it's hard to get sometimes when it's so rigid, because it puts a lot of weight on the fork, so you have to have a stiffer fork than normal. So it's hard to balance.
Yeah, hard to get the right one. Is there any other sports you like watching or even doing? Is there other sports you like watching?
I like to watch, American football. I don't follow anything. I don't really even have TV at home. I just, we have the Netflix type stuff, but I like to do more than, sit. So I like to follow. My boys are into football, so I'm a little more partial to that, but you'd think I put them in something safe, but no. But they're still young, so we'll see where that goes. But anyway, yeah, not really into watching too much.
Maybe that's you've just let us into that secret. Maybe we've just found it out that you shouldn't watch too much TV. Look.
Yeah, maybe.
Then we can look younger like Mike. Mike, did you have a preference between motocross or Supercross? Did you like both the same, or did you prefer one over the other? Or
I did, and they were at different times in my career. I started off preferring motocross, and mainly because it's what I was, grew up on, and Supercross just seemed so short and like super hypersensitive to getting a good start, and the races were short and the tracks were narrow, and just took me a minute to kind of get used to them. but at the end of my career, I liked Supercross because it took more finesse. You had to be smarter about it. You had the ability to make a bigger effect than you could outdoors. When you get older, it's really outdoors is about speed and your willingness to hang it out. And when you're younger, I think that suits pretty well for motocross. But when you're older, it's less suiting. So I shifted with, the speeds, when I started getting sensitive with how I thought outdoors was a lot harder to go fast than being timing and doing Supercross. So I did, but they were different times of my career.
Yeah, good show. Do you watch a lot of the Supercross or follow the Motocross now much at all?
No, only more this year than I have in the last few, because one of my boys just recently got into watching it, and Chase used to stay with us when he was a young Geico guy. So my boys are into it because he's doing well, so they follow him, and so when I have them, we'll watch whatever it is, Supercross. I haven't watched any motocross yet, but we watched the tail end of the Supercross series, and we were at Redbud, so that was really the first one I've watched in a while. But
yeah, Chase, hopefully he's going to be the one to take it to Jet as well, wouldn't he? So
at least for all of us to, it's nice to wonder who's going to win.
Yeah,
for the sport.
Yeah, I think he'll take it to him next year. I think, and as you know, it's hard, Mike. Everyone says about Chase, having his few little tip-offs here and there, but who doesn't?
Yeah, and Jet's pretty sharp for a rookie, and Chase, he's got very similar good roll speed, smooth riding style. But I think Chase rides a little farther back, so when he has something go wrong with the front end, it kind of catches him off guard, and it's too late to kind of react with it. So it seems like he'll figure that out, but definitely some weird stuff for him. But and I'm sure that weighs on him when everybody's like points it out. It doesn't do well.
It's annoying. He just needs to get back out. He's got the speed, like you said, so it's going to happen for him, I'm pretty sure, soon enough. Someone's put, "Hi, Mike, have you got a road bike? Have you ever had a road bike at all, Mike?"
No, never did. I had them when I was with Suzuki. They came with my contract, and had them, but really just it didn't suit me. I would everywhere I was going, I was with a bike or something. So I just didn't. And now I'm here in California, and it's just kind of sketchy. But mainly just not my thing. I definitely am into sort of trail riding and some dual sport stuff for the fun of it, but not really just road bike. And I think it was always, I never did track stuff, so it just didn't really equate it to being much fun.
Yeah, I even actually promised my mum I wouldn't get a road bike.
Yeah, and it was a lot like that too. Everybody thought you were going to get hurt on a street bike. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it'd be so easy to get pull a wheelie or go a bit too fast. It's easily done, isn't it? For sure. Wes mentioned as well about the World Supercross title in 2000.
Yeah, that was right when that was sort of getting put together. I don't even remember what events we had, but yeah, that was a little bit of a weird time because we did it also in the States for 2 years. I think we had some weird political thing with the FIM, I think, if I remember right, around that era. But and everybody was, I remember that Supercross was, trying to get more events and stuff like that. I just remember it being a weird time and potentially political, but nonetheless, yeah, at least they got one of those.
Yeah, really cool. Marty, you'll have to catch up with that bit later on when I record. He said about the Europe thing. You have to catch that up later, Marty. We've already talked about that, but he did ask you Did you prefer the 250 or the 500? You mentioned that you did love the 500 bike, but was there a preference between them two?
Well, preference would have been 250 because the roost didn't hurt as bad. No. I really did like the 500, but I think, as far as being nimble and suitable for, Supercross in most environments and mainly stopping, I think I remember that more than anything is the 500s had that big ding ding, roll on where it was really stop. So 250s for sure in big picture, but as far as having an old dinosaur of a 500, that was fun to ride.
What sort of training did you do over the years, Mike? Did that change from when you were younger to later on? Things like, 'cause you was always well known for your durability, coming through the pack, lasting the whole motors, and how obviously long your career was as well was major compared to most. Really cool. So, was there any specific things you did? Did it change?
Weightlifting more than anything. I would. I would sort of base my workouts around weightlifting and then sort of throw in, use my motos and mountain biking and running. I would throw in for, some cross type training, but I kind of believed in the stronger I was, the easier everything was. So, and although I wish I would have known what I know now because I was always overworked and underfed, for the first half of my career. And then I was, I spent the first part of my career trying to get bigger and stronger and heavier, and this last part of my career trying to get lighter and smaller because it seemed like, my competition were all, super light and super small. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I mainly based it around weightlifting, and I always challenged the my cardio relative to how long I was racing. So if it was Supercross, I would do 24-minute type stuff, and if it was motocross, I would do longer type training. But I everything that I struggled with, I put it on my don't let that happen again thing, and I would study it. I would try to figure out the best thing to do. I mean, I was a self-motivated and self-taught. So anything I needed, I would try to figure it out. And now with the internet, you can find out all that stuff, which I'd have to crazy to come out or something. But
yeah, I suppose these guys now, they've all got mental coaches and all sorts of stuff now
Yeah.
as well. So it gets deep.
Yeah,
it definitely gets deep. Was there any best crowd atmospheres you had over the years? I know you did the Nation, and I'm pretty sure Redbud was mentioned.
It was always cool to go to Europe, and whether that was Italy or France or whatever, and just with the horns and the how excited everybody was to see, and the crowd, the quantity was always pretty high, but that was always super cool to see. I mean, it was overwhelming at times, really being an American, but that was super cool. And then hometown stuff is always fun. Like Indianapolis Supercross was really good for me, especially winning that one. That was actually it was my last win, but having that whole crowd do the wave to wherever you were was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. Did you ever try Speedway? I was supposed to ask you that actually.
No, and I come across some tracks that had them, that I would tool around on until they, chased me out for having knobby tires on there. But I wanted to like that, but I never really put myself in a position to do all that stuff until post-career, and I wish I would have. I had a lot more fun on the bikes, and I think there's always a carryover, learning how to control stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Marty's just put, do you remember Hangtown? I think it was 91. I've never seen conditions so bad. The track was underwater. Do you remember that day? It was awful.
Yeah, I was actually just telling my boys about that. We literally had raging water crossings, and it was in between the mountains there, or the hills, and it was so bad that you had to jump at an angle into the water because it'd carry you back to the other side of the track. I mean, it was so The mud itself, I've been in much worse because with all that rain coming down, it stayed loose, which is, other than trying to keep your bike from not sucking water, that the mud part wasn't as bad as the actual raging water crossings, and they got deeper every lap. And luckily they had flagmen, kind of standing like, don't go in that area. But it was definitely severe. I mean, you literally could have drowned, which is kind of in a motocross.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd get away with it now. Bit more health and safety a bit about now, Mike.
Sure.
And I think that's on YouTube as well. I'm sure it's still on YouTube as well. I think that is. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. What's the if you had to say, what's the favorite race you've won and why? Was there any favorite that sticks in your mind still now?
I used to pride myself in preseason preparation. So to stay away from everybody and then come out and win the first couple openers. I always thought that was a testament to what I was doing, and then but as you get older and your career winds away, I would have to say more like the indie stuff where it's you're late in your career and everybody kind of has that I don't know, like I guess a level of respect for you, and then you kind of finally win one at the tail end there. I mean, that carries more weight now, but I mean, I used to look at it a little bit differently.
Looks like this frizzy guy is, but I was always Mike Larocco on the PlayStation 1 way back in 2001, I think. Awesome rider. Can't wait to meet him next week. And yeah, if you go back earlier on, I put that up on the screen as well. So that was cool. How did that come about, actually, Mike? Now we're talking about it. How did that actually come about? Do the people that make the games come and approach you about it? How does it all work?
Yeah, not unlike it. I'm sure it is right now because we got the Supercross game out and the GP games, and so not unlike that. We they wanted to use our likeness, and it really wasn't hard back then because we didn't have any of that stuff. So we were a lot easier, thinking it'd be just cool to be on a video game. So, but really just signing off your likeness, and it was cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. Someone's just Jamie's just put awesome. Just clicked on this while I was at the petrol station. Look forward to watching it later. Legend. If you could give any advice, Mike, to any current youth schoolboys, they call them over in the UK, who wants to be a pro, what would you advise those guys?
Well, I mean, it's it's a lot about it's a tough one. I mean, you really got to kind of believe in what you're doing, and this sport's it's tough. So if you really have what it takes, you have to give yourself all of that effort. Whether it's spending time on the bike or studying. I mean, mental, I would have to say, if you can go teach yourself mental toughness, I would say the earlier that and really how that reflects in life in general is going to be, that probably one of my number one recommendations is learn how to control that. And
we just lost him.
So I think on your way to figuring it out, you're going to need to be able to choose the right path each time. It's tough, but as far as the riding goes, you got to surround yourself with guys that are better than you and watch from them, learn them. And as far as training goes, I really am gonna default back to the mental toughness, because you should do training that puts you in a position to where you want to quit and figure out how not to. And those are the things that I think serve me the best.
I've only got. I'll ask you a few more if you don't mind. I do appreciate your time. Really appreciate it, mate. What do you think about these electric bikes then? Have you had a go on one? Have you seen anything about it? I see Tortelli's involved in one of them, and I did see one at the practice track in the UK the other night when I was taking pictures, and I was like, super weird not hearing him come.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa.
I can't even picture what that environment will be like in a in a stadium.
Yeah.
But I haven't spent when they were really early development, I went up and rode one. It was a couple brands ago. It's not even around anymore. But I do think that they're coming. They're for sure coming, and I think that the power is going to be very easy to find, and superior maybe to what we have on gas motors. But I really wonder about how we transition from being able to manipulate a motorcycle using a clutch, and then not, if they haven't, I don't know if they've got that figured out yet or not, but
yeah, I don't think so.
there's a lot there that I think is going to be hard to transition from as a rider. But I mean, if you really think about its potential, I mean, I don't know about you guys over there, but have you seen the sidewalks and streets full of these little electric bicycles now? I mean,
yeah, scooters and all that. Yeah,
they're useful, and they're useful anywhere. So there's a place for them. Racing. The last I heard, I don't know that they've got them to survive the battery at a high level riders output. To depending, and I would only imagine if it's muddy or whatnot that would come into play. But I think they're coming. You might hear some things that we're not used to hearing, like yelling and stuff, so it might be kind of funny. But
it's weird.
We've seen a lot of these changes. I mean, the 4-stroke come and gone, and now we're gonna have this. Interesting.
Yeah, it literally went past me, and it sort of does this sort of like whistling sort of woo sort of noise. It's like, you sort of hear when they land on the jumps, you can just hear all the suspension in them. No noise, so you just hear the. It's like so bizarre.
It brings me back to the remote control car days, a little bit like that.
Yeah, it's like that, literally. Yeah, Skate Electric's job back in the day. But so what's your any plans for the future? Sounds like you're super busy as it is already.
I'm just working on getting another franchise going. It's like family entertainment stuff. Working with another team on that. Just stuff like that. Opening a couple business. I don't know. I just I like challenges, I guess, and just trying different stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, Mike. Thank you very much for doing this with me. You are a proper legend, and love watching your racing career. And as many who have come on tonight, they're all looking forward to meeting you next week in the UK. So hopefully we'll see you there. Hopefully get you on camera in a few. Yeah, 100%. Cheers, Mike. Thank you very much, my friend. Cheers, buddy. Proper legend. Cheers, mate. What a legend, Mr. Mike Larocco. How cool was that? Ledge. Woo! Another one of my ones I loved in the 90s, watching falling asleep to those VHS tapes of the AMA Supercross and the season reviews on the AMA outdoors. I still go on the Motorvision and on YouTube and all that now and watch it all. I still love it all. Watching him battle with Mike Kradowski and Stanton and all them. It was just the best era ever. Larry Ward, Bradshaw. It was just endless, wasn't it? Jess Matasevich. Everyone looked super cool. Everyone had mint spray jobs and cool bikes. They always looked cool in the magazines. You know what I mean, if you lived that era. Damn, I wish I'd have asked that before he left. That's the only thing I didn't ask tonight, I don't think, about did you have any bikes and any gear and trophies left? Damn, we missed the boat on that, but I'll ask him next week. I'm sure plenty of people are going to have plenty of, sounds like Martin's going to have some kit probably to sign next week. Sounds like Wes is going to have the old Mike Larocco bow replica helmet there to sign. That'd be cool. Definitely having a selfie with that man. Last year was so cool at Fox Hill, getting to meet Ricky Johnson and especially when he said my name as well and he died. You know, you do that thing and sort of, oh, you're on an interview with him. Yeah, okay, he was on an interview for 3 hours, Ricky Johnson, but he's not going to remember me. So I sort of like sort of sidled up towards him and he went, Lee. And I was like, holy shit, he knows who I am. I literally like passed out. Oh my God. And the next minute you're hanging out with Ricky Johnson. It was absolutely nuts. Got his number and all that. It's just like so bizarre, but very cool. And then I remember Yoki Coulson come over as well. It was really cool. He was walking the track and he come over. You do that. Is he walking towards me? That was mega as well. That was really cool. Spoke to Doug the Buck, who's been on tonight. So I want to get him on a live actually as well. So I have to speak to him next week. Sounds like Dave's been with him tonight. So it sounds like he's already over, which is cool. And yeah, I did a written one with him a few years back where I put it in my group when I used to basically send them the questions and then post them all out with loads of pictures. They used to be how I first started out, sort of 4 years ago. And I'm just going to quickly see if I can find it now, actually. But I remember doing it. But definitely got to get all the riders. Yeah, there you go, look. So that was done in 18th of May, 2020. And as you can see, there was like 80 pictures. Everyone loved all those. I used to do when I first started, and I did hundreds of them with BSMA, Motocross, Schoolboy British riders, and British Championship riders. Then ended up being like AMA stars and British champions and world champions and all that, and pretty much how it escalated into the lives. Well, should I say Skype interviews first? And then lives. No problem, Pat. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Much appreciated with your high knowledge of the 80s, 90s, and every year, to be honest. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Do my best. Means a lot from you, my friend. 90s motocross himself. I've had 2 90s motocross boys on tonight with Wes as well. Check out his Facebooks and all that as well, the Super Evo 90s. Yes, David, very cool, wouldn't it? Be good. I'll get this out there so a lot of the guys that can't get on live will be able to watch this back. And yeah, it'd be so cool to meet him next week. Chico Chudi as well. Looking forward to getting to meet him as well. Cheeky picture. There's so many legends. I saw Mr. Herron's now going there as well, and he was one of my favourite Brits of all time as well, especially the Castrol Honda days. And my buddy Kevin Wheeler's racing there next week as well on his 125 Honda, so hopefully it'll all be good to go now. And he's going to have some very cool Castrol gear on that as well, so it's going to look pretty trick. His bike sounded really good last week at Gritton in practice when he come 2.5 hours to go there to practice. Fair play to him. He's had a few little leaks here and there, but hopefully they've been sorted. And I believe he's got a new Fresco pipe on the way, apparently. So can't wait to see that. Look factory as well, won't it? No worries, Wes. Be good to see you next week, mate. And have a chat with you and have a picture and all that and have a reminisce. Thank you very much, Wes. Allows me to put some of my stuff on his page, which I do appreciate. Like I said, he's got that new 90s Super Evo Motocross on Facebook. He's got a page and a group, I believe. Is that right, Wes? Plus, I know that man is any parts and stuff he hasn't got. It's not worth having, is it? I'm sure he'll be up there wheeling and dealing next week when you Wes. Or is it just going to be full out fun, no business? Or is it business and pleasure? Amazing going, killing you. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you, mate. I'm still sweating a little bit at the moment. It's still got a little bit of the, you know, all the after, as you can hear, sweating out. Last night I was so drained at that motocross, like flipping out. Like literally after 1 hour, I was wrecked taking photos. I literally could have led down in the middle of the field. So when I did the 4 hours plus, I was quite chuffed that I got through it. So hopefully now I can just recover in this next week before Fox Hill, and then. Shane, have you seen the interview with James Tosley? Incredible, and you believe he was suffering mental problems while he was at the top of his game? Bloody hell. No, I haven't, mate. I'll have to look at that. Because I did speak to a couple of road racing guys and I was going to get them on. to do something different, because I did do Alan Carter, who won GP back in the day, who was brothers to Speedway legend Kenny Carter. I had Alan Carter on once as well, so I've done a road racing one, which was pretty cool, and I did speak to a few of them, so it'd be very cool. Yeah, that's okay, sure. Shane, I'd like to have a look at that. Okay, it's all pleasure then next week then, Wes. Beautiful. A few beers and a few, well, we're going to have a few bikes to look at, maybe a couple of bikes. The Briggs boys will be there with all their unbelievable, crazy amount of bikes and setups that they've got. Awesome. Thank you, Dean, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. Hope you're okay. Yeah, it sounds like it's good. Like I said, you'll be surprised, like you've just mentioned there about with mental problems. There's so many of the top riders, you know, like Pat was mentioning earlier, when these riders sort of leave their sports that they've known all their lives from kids, and then, like you said, pretty much going back into the real world after being factory riders and this and that. It's not easy, and yeah. It'd be a surprise a lot of the riders have been through in their times with injuries and things like that. And I know for a big thing for speedway riders and motocross riders, even myself, is basically the pain. Things that you've done in your day that unfortunately do come back to haunt you at some point. But we wouldn't change it, I'm sure. We might moan about it now a little bit. But yeah, like, it's just a shame on my back and stuff like that, because I'd love to be like racing in vets and things like that and having a good time. Would be cool, but doing the next best thing. Where me and Kev are organising events. So I had a few good reunions and stuff. And don't forget, we've got our event, Battle of Britain, down at Landrake in October. So you should join us for that. It's going to be a really cool meeting. It'd be really good, all-time qualifying for all the groups, to get people in the right groups. Also all the youths as well, so spread the word. I don't want to get the date wrong. Is it the 20th and 20 and 21st? I think it is. 21st and 22nd, that's it. So yeah, don't forget you can message me to book in for that as well, and I can give you all the details for that meeting. I'll be doing the commentary and all that as well, so it's been really cool this year to get into the commentary side of things. We've done our reunions, obviously, but then doing the British Championship, and then how cool was that to get to do the MXGP for Eurosport. GP of Indonesia was amazing. Hopefully get to do another one of them one day. But I do appreciate that Jack Bernacle hooked me up for that. It was pretty cool. Hopefully I get another opportunity. Yeah. And it was cool to do the BSMA stuff and all that as well, commentary, and yeah, some good plans with them. We're actually in with the BSMA now for our meeting, so we can have cheap transponder hire and stuff like that as well. And those guys literally are all about the sport as well, so it'd be really cool to work with them guys, and they're all proper legends already. Even just meeting them all this year, they're super nice people. So I believe they're at Cuss's this weekend as well. So you can still get involved with that, I believe. So if you want to book in there, don't forget Cuss's is getting lost at the end of this year as well. So get yourselves in there. So I'll be back on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UK time, with British Speedway legend Marvin Cox, and he's going to talk about loads of things in depth. When he changed to a German license, and all these sorts of controversial things to do with leaving clubs and things like that. So we're going to have a great chat tomorrow night. So get your popcorn and your beers in, all you Speedway fans, because we're going to have a good one tomorrow from 7 p.m. UK time. Then on Monday night, for all you Motocross and Supercross fans, I'll be with American legend Robbie Reynard. So that'll be a really cool one. Monday night, come in. That's 7 p.m. UK time. Then on the Tuesday night, I will be with Paul Pirates team boss Neil Middleditch, who's obviously had a great career on track as well, and having a great career off track as well, with being team GB manager and winning so many trophies for his hometown team, Paul Pirates. So that'll be a great one on Tuesday night. That's 7 p.m. UK time as well. And then Thursday night, I should be at Fox Hill on the day, and then on the Thursday night after Fox Hill, I shall be live with Rick Miller from America. He's been a stuntman as well after Speedway in the films, like we know a few of our UK guys have, Jamie Dodd, Paul Edmondson, Lee Morrison, all these sorts of guys have done stunt stuff. Rob Herring does all the camera work on the camera bikes and stuff like that, and his son James Herring's involved as well. So he's been a stuntman as well. Rick Miller, he was a legend for Coventry Bees in the 80s and into the 90s. And I will be with him next Thursday night, so a week tonight, and that'll be 7 p.m. UK time as well. So they're all 7 p.m. UK time after tonight, so hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow night. Much love to you all. Good night and God bless. And from my dad, it's nice to be important. It's important to be nice. Much love all. Thanks for everyone for coming on. I'll put a link on after this. If anyone wants to help in any way, I would be much appreciated. It does cost to get all this online and a lot of time and stuff to do it. So any help at all would be much appreciated. And much love to you guys that do. Yeah, I'm signing off. Ciao. Much love all. Cheers.